A project car is more than the sum of its parts. It's the problem-solving, collaboration, and the culmination of hours of work that evokes the true meaning of a project. And now it's time for this reborn legend to prove itself worthy of the name.
So here we are at Lime Rock Park at the FCP Euro Proving Grounds, freezing our butts off. The last time you saw us, we were at the dyno tuning this car, making sure it was making nearly 400 horsepower. Now it is the time to figure out the rest of the car. We're not going to be setting any records today. The goal is really to make sure the systems are working and really get a checklist to make sure the car is perfect the next time it goes to the track. We got 2,500 pounds and 400 horsepower. I want to go see what that feels like and start to figure this thing out. So let's go shake this thing down. All right, so here we go. First drive in Golden Era. Right now, coolant temps are around 50 degrees. Things are warming up a little bit. I'm going to go just do some slow laps and feel this thing out. All right, here we go. First gear engaged. So really Golden Era, no power steering, so you feel it right in the steering wheel right away. That's about 3,600 revs. This engine is just way more power than this car needs. Holy smokes, this thing has so much power. It just lights up the rear tires every time you step on the throttle. Initially, the steering feels pretty good, honestly. The oversteer feels pretty comfortable. I mean, the track's like 0 degrees right now, so there's nearly no grip. I mean, everything looks good, so we're just gonna kind of keep this thing going. You know, if you followed us at the dyno, we had a little bit of oil going in the turbo, a little more than we hoped. So hopefully that seems to be cleared up. Wow. A lot of vibrations, a lot of things going on, but I'll tell you what, when you feel this car kind of do its special bits when it comes into power and it goes a little bit sideways and it's just such a small little light car, and honestly looking behind me and seeing this big wing and seeing the Mercedes emblem in front and the mono wiper right through, the stacked dash sitting in front of me, this, like, I'm having dreams of DTM right now. This is badass, man. This is badass. I cannot. Wow. 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 It's a drift car, man. Racing back in these days with no ABS and no traction control, and I can only imagine. Oh, this is f***ing awesome. Holy f***, this car is cool. Driven a lot of cool cars. This car might be one of the coolest. Even how rough it is right now is still so cool. This shifter is so cool, man. Grabbing the gears this close to the steering wheel and how direct it is. Oh man. All right, so we've probably done maybe 10, 15 laps around here. I'm starting to get a little excited. I'm getting confident in the car. I think it's really a time we're gonna get our eyes on it and make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Really double check the nuts, the bolts, all the fasteners, all that sort of stuff.
Holy smokes, this car is something special. I can't describe it. It is like, it's really rough, but the diamond in it is so amazing. Just the power, the way the car handles, the feel of it, the vibes, the stacked dash and the Mercedes emblem, it is so awesome. When you get on the power and you feel the torque delivery and the way the car slides and the handling, the steering input and even the braking are all better than I expected. You know, no power steering, you feel every little thing in the road. It's ripping the steering wheel out of your hand, but it's like doing it in a way that's like, you expect it, not in a way that's like, I'm gonna die. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a very, very visceral experience driving this car. So I'm gonna go feel a couple more things out, get a couple more notes in my head. Cannot wait. This car is way more exciting than I expected it to be. Let's go do it.
Remember the golden era forever. Scan the QR code to head over to fcpeuro.com to order your limited edition Golden Era 190E t-shirt.
Seeing the Golden Era project finally hit the track, emanating the sights and sounds of a real race car, the team couldn't help but feel accomplished. FCP Euro set out to build a 190E instilled with the character of Group A legends and powered by the boosted heart of a modern AMG machine, and nearly a year later, the power sliding project was filling the hills of Connecticut with the turbo flutter that many dream of.
Wow.
How good is it?
It's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could list off a list of things that are wrong with it, but
Can you?
at the bottom of that, like, or maybe at the top of it, I'm not sure, you didn't miss the goal. Like, the car is there. It just needs a lot of little polishing and fixing and touching up. But like, the core of what this is and what it was meant to be, the vision, has been realized. Like, dude, 350 horsepower in a 2,500 pound car, no ABS, no traction control, no power steering, a shifter that acts like it's like basically your hands in the transmission pulling the gears or the selector shafts from one to the other. Like, it's awesome. It is the most mechanical car I've ever driven. All of the things I was scared were gonna be totally terrible and totally not work on the car actually work. It is like a testament to the car. Like, it can handle the power. Like, it doesn't feel like the rear end's like flopping all over the place. It feels like when you get on the power, it does what it needs to do. And if it has too much for the tires, then it starts to slide a little bit. The front steering, like, it actually really feels good. Like, it doesn't feel like what I expected it to feel like, to be honest with you. The brakes feel solid. I mean, yeah, you need to push them. They're mechanical, but they're doing their job. They're all working really well. I did a couple laps around the skid pad and we just loaded it up, and like, I'm finding myself at 20% throttle on the skid pad, and every time I put a little wheel into it, I get a little slide, I pull a little wheel out, I'm just kind of just doing this. Like, the balance on the car was like perfect. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this thing is just an understeering pig, or, oh my God, I'm gonna loop it and just die. This thing was like, okay, it's a decent car. I mean, this is why we build project cars. Some of this is we put a big engine in here, we locked everything down, not letting anything move, all that sort of stuff. You definitely feel it when you drive the car. But then there's a whole other element of the car, which is like what we locked it to, the chassis itself, the rear suspension geometry that we couldn't really have control of. Those things are really good and they can handle it. So between the two of them, it sort of just pulled it all together. I think we need some notepad, write down the things that we're finding that we need to adjust. We need to nut and bolt and check, make sure we're not gonna lose an engine or we're not gonna throw things through it. But we just gotta keep doing more of this. And you know, this is like, take the thing that is the worst thing on the list, cross it off. Take the next thing that's worst thing on the list, cross it off, keep doing that. Next thing you know, we're gonna have a beautiful masterpiece of a project car.
A year ago, the team had a thought. an idea to rethink one of their favorite race cars from one of the best eras of racing. Looking back, they may not have understood the challenges ahead, but the vision was all that was needed to start the journey. Modern-day builds often start with a handshake deal, after finding someone else's neglected project or hand-me-down car beneath a layer of dust in a garage, a car in need of a new aspiring owner to breathe life back into it. The Golden Era 190E was exactly that. In the early stages of a project, it's time for the builder and the car to get to know one another. The nuances, the history, and most importantly, the potential. From there, the real work begins. From problem solving to banged up knuckles to part sourcing and time spent with friends, there were helping hands at every corner. All involved shared in what it felt like to build a true project car of this caliber, each a vital element to building a legend. The trials and tribulations and learning moments are oftentimes the most satisfying, far before the car ever runs. From there, it's the feeling of being able to share a car which carries with it so much pride, with a community that can appreciate the work and vision that went into it. And in the end, it's the culmination of all those things that brings true life and meaning into the cars we all love. In this case, the goal of capturing the soul of a DTM car of the Golden Era with the heart of a modern-day AMG was complete. From here, the legend can live on, from apex to apex, and paddock to paddock.
So literally spent basically all day in this car, bunch of laps on the proving grounds. I have a long list in my head of things we need to address. First, how does the car sound from the outside? Does it sound good?
Oh, it sounds great.
Awesome.
It makes all the right noises. The turbo flutters a little bit, nice exhaust tone.
That's good, because all I feel inside the car is a bunch of buzz. That's something we definitely need to address. So right now we have a fully solid motor mounts. I do think that someday down the road we're going to try to isolate that, whether it's some Delrin or some urethane or something of that nature. I will say on the pedals, we definitely need a foot brace. My heels were sliding around. I was kind of bracing them in on the bottom of the pedal box. I think we can put a foot bar in there. The other big thing is obviously I looked in the mirror. There's lots of oil. Or oil smoke. Every now and again I'd get it in the car. What do you think's going on there? What can we do about that?
So I have a few different theories. One, at extended idle periods it starts smoking more and more, which leads me to believe it's some sort of non-venting drain back issue. The other key ingredient to that theory is when it starts boosting, it spits oil out of the catch can breather.
Okay.
So obviously oil's pooling in the head, pooling in the turbo, and not draining back
down into the sump where it needs to be.
As it should be.
So we're definitely going to need to look at the oiling system. It's definitely getting plenty of oil pressure. I know that something Kareem was working on is this motor is so advanced it actually has a staged oil pump where it has different pumping pressures that it's allowed to, or it can create for fuel economy and for efficiency and all that sort of stuff. I think we need to really dial in and understand how to manipulate that, and then also look at all of the venting on the engine, because a lot of that stock stuff we just took off and we did different things. Some of them are working. Most of them are working actually. The whole cooling system is working fantastic right now, but the oil venting system seems to be a little bit hodgepodge right now.
Exactly. So we took a swing. we missed there. We'll revisit it and, fine tune it.
Base setup, out of the box, things bolted together, threw an alignment on it. The handling is not terrible. It's not as ideal as it could be, but out of the box, the car is relatively neutral. Entering the corners, you give it a little bit of wheel, you get a little bit of understeer. As soon as you tip in throttle, open up the diff, it starts to slide a little bit, and then if you step on it, this engine has plenty of power. You can just hang out the rear end wherever you want. Really balanced car right now. The braking system feels really good. Honestly, I was really concerned that our bias was all mixed up early on in the day, but as we bed in the pads, it really kind of came about, and it feels pretty good. Definitely a little bit forward bias right now, but I'd rather have a little front bias and rear bias and loop it off into the woods.
How did the diff feel? Did it get a little less chattery?
Diff feels really good, and I do honestly think that's part of the reason the car feels so good around the racetrack, because the diff is such a big part of obviously a car's handling, and you can control the car with the diff. So coming into the corner, like I said, you give it a bunch of wheel, you're off, diff's in full lockup, and you're coming in, and it's it's getting a little bit understeer. As soon as you crack the throttle, you can feel the diff kind of open up a little bit, and your car starts to rotate a little bit, giving you that turning you need. And then when you really step on it, the diff just locks up and just drives you straight, and it's really consistent. Even coming up through the S's here out of this bend, some of the spots like here where you're really getting on it hard, the car's gonna loosen up a little bit, but it does it in such a consistent way that you're not like chasing it and catching it. It just kind of nice, gentle glide. Yeah, and then without the power steering, it's great because the thing's tugging at you everywhere and just telling you where it needs to go. So you just kind of let the steering wheel do its thing. But that's the golden era, man. You gotta be brawny to drive these cars.
Build that arm strength.
I know. Other than that, I mean, a bunch of little things, buzzes, rattles. I think this car probably needs about 100 more zip ties.
I am really impressed based on what it was and what it is and how the balance is right now. We didn't have to make any huge swings.
And it just shows that you can take your grandmother's car, set it beside her shop, a lot of money and a lot of time later, you could have something like this, which would be pretty cool. So go do it. All right, so sun's down, it's getting cold. I'm freezing, you're probably freezing too.
I'm very cold.
So let's get this thing back in the garage. We gotta load it in the trailer, get it back in the garage. Let's take this thing apart, figure out all the fine tuning on all the things we just talked about. We wanna thank our partners. Obviously, we couldn't do this without them. They came along for the ride. We really appreciate what they did. Also wanna thank all of you for watching. I know it took a little bit longer. You maybe didn't get all the details you want. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'd love to answer them. And stay tuned. This car's gonna be touring around. We'll be around. We have more builds in the future. So we'll see you in the next one.